In Massachusetts, do you need permission to move with your children? You may want to relocate during or after your divorce, but if you have children together, that may not be possible. At least, not without permission. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm attorney Paul Whalen from Afford Law. At Afford Law, we give you the legal help you need at a price you can afford. Whether you can relocate with your children depends on what type of custody arrangement you have, if any. If you have joint physical custody, you must have permission of the other parent or the court before relocating out of the state. Relocating out of the state is sometimes called removal, so you're removing the child from the state. You need to have permission of the other party, that is the other parent, or the court. The reason being is that parenting time is very important to your child's development, and therefore it's recognized by the court as being very important. The courts want both parents to be actively involved in your child's upbringing. So moving out of state or far away can have a big impact on the parenting time or the visitation opportunities that the non-custodial parent has with your children. In a joint custody situation, the court will use what's called the best interest test to determine if the move is in the best interest of your child, because the child's best interest is what drives the court's decisions in almost all child custody situations. Under the best interest analysis, the court's going to look to see, is the child better off living in the new location? So the court will want to know things such as, will there be family support in the new location? Perhaps you're from the area and you want to return there. You have a large family. You have support from the family. Your child will have family members, cousins, perhaps siblings that they can interact with. In that case, the child may well be better off in the new location. It may be a better location, safer, have more opportunities for your child. Perhaps the schools are better in that new location as well. These are all types of things that the court will look to when determining if indeed it is in the child's best interest. Now, if you have sole physical custody in Massachusetts, there's a different standard that's applied. That standard is the real advantage test. And under that analysis, the court looks to see what is the real advantage, if any, to you, the custodial parent. Because the court has determined that the child's well-being is very closely linked with the custodial parent's well-being. So if you're doing better there, the child will probably be doing better there as well. And since you have sole custody, that's the standard that the court will use. So in such cases, the court looks to see if there are better opportunities for you in the new location. So perhaps there's a very good job that you're going to. Your income will be increased. Perhaps you have more flexible time that's available so that you can dedicate more time to your child. Perhaps you're moving for educational reasons. Are you going to go back to school to advance your education, to get a degree and so forth? That will put you in a better position in life, and therefore your child will be better off as well. Once again, if there is family support in the new location, that's better for you. You have more people to rely on to help raise the child, so that will be a benefit to you as well. Now, parenting time, again, is very important. The non-custodial parent needs to have a connection with your child, unless there's some reason why that person shouldn't have connections with your child, such as them being an unfit parent. But for the most part, the court's going to want to keep that person involved in your child's life. So even if you do move, the court's going to want to make sure that there's some sort of parenting plan in place whereby that party can have contact with your child on a regular basis. Usually what happens is, instead of an every other weekend kind of a thing, the non-custodial parent will have the opportunity to have longer periods of time with the child, say over summer vacations and over school vacations and holidays and things along those lines. Before we get to the rest of the ideas, I just want to let you know that if you are considering a divorce, we'd like you to go to affordlaw.org/checklist. We've come up with a checklist of the 7 most important things you should be considering before filing for your divorce. What if there is no custody agreement in place? Sometimes parents are not married, they just go their separate ways without any court involvement, or perhaps you're still married, but you haven't gotten to court to get an agreement as far as what custody arrangements you'll have. In such a case, if you want to relocate or remove the child from the state, the court will look to a functional analysis test. Under the functional analysis test, the court will look to see what does it seem like your arrangement is with child custody. So although there's no formal arrangement in place, the court wants to see basically what does it look like? Does it look like a joint custody situation, or does it look like a sole custody situation? The court will look to such things as how much time does each parent spend with the child? At whose house do they sleep? How much responsibility does each party have? So if one party has the majority of the responsibility of raising the child, then it's going to look to the court like it's a sole custody situation, and therefore they will use the real advantage test. If it looks like it's a joint custody situation, they will use the best interest of the child analysis. Can I move within the state of Massachusetts with my child? The statute doesn't directly address whether you can move within the state with your child. However, the courts have interpreted that statute to put it under the same basic analysis that we've just discussed, especially long moves. That is to say, if you're moving from one side of the state to the other, because the same issue is going to be there as far as parenting time. You're further away from the other parent, therefore the child's going to have less access to that child. So the same analysis is generally applied by the court as far as the best interest of the child standard under joint custody situations, or the real advantage test under sole custody situations. But don't assume that you can move with your child within the state without getting permission. For more information about divorce in Massachusetts, please see our next video.